Are you worried you don't have everything you need to stream? Class is in session. I'm Professor Monty, and this is Xiangyunlou School. What do you truly need to start streaming? Many people have the time, money, and skill set to debut with gorgeous rigging, eye-catching stream layouts, powerful computers, the works. That is not something you are required to follow. If you don't know much of the indie scene, if you only really follow big VTubers, you might be under the impression that you need months and months of work before you can stream as a VTuber. That is not true. Do not let perfect be the enemy of good. If you want to stream as a VTuber, then stream. There's a lot you don't need right away. Don't feel like you have to have everything perfectly set up before your first stream. This includes Live2D Rigging. Yeah, the really big VTubers all have Live2D Rigging, but you don't have to have it. It's higher quality than 3D rigging from VTUBE Studio, yes, but don't let that stop you from streaming. 3D models are valid, they're frequent, and don't feel you can't stream unless you have Live2D. Speaking of, you don't need rigging at all. If you plan on being Live2D, you'll get your illustration first and will likely be waiting on your rigging for a while, longer if you're also shooting for an iPhone for the highest quality face tracking. Additionally, rigging is very expensive and you might not be able to afford it right away. You can absolutely stream before your rigging. PNG tubers are very valid. I personally streamed for almost 2 months just with a static image of myself, staring vacantly into a screen. With a little bit of ingenuity, you can set up Discord reactive images. It'll give your static image a little bit more flair by bouncing and animating as you talk. Quality illustration. That's right, you don't need to have a high quality illustration to call your own before streaming. Admittedly, this is where the VTuber persona breaks down a little. Are you a VTuber or just a regular streamer with some roleplay? I personally argue that there isn't much difference. You can stream with a sketch or just a stand-in illustration just fine. Yes, your illustration and your rigging and all the cute anime stuff you can do might attract viewers, but it's likely not why people stick around to watch. They watch for you. Stream layouts. We're talking stream UI, follow notifications, loading screens, just chatting screens, stinger transitions. You don't need these, you can stream without them. Galgura doesn't use a stream UI. She puts a game full screen and puts up her rigging in one corner, chat in another, and that's it. A debut. Some VTubers just appeared one day and started making content without any debut. Planning a debut is hard, and it further reinforces the feeling that you need everything to be perfect before you first stream. Let me be clear with what I'm trying to get across. I'm not saying don't get this stuff. I'm saying if you feel you can't stream because you don't have this stuff yet, just stream without the stuff and get it later. Whether you're VTubing for growth or as a hobby, you should not feel held back by perfection. There's a really good quote I want to shout out. There's only one rule to VTubing. You're using an avatar to express yourself. Don't feel that, oh, I won't be a VTuber unless I have this, this, and this. Alright, enough preaching. Let's start leaning towards what you will need. Streaming software. Obvious enough, right? Get OBS or Streamlabs OBS. In another video, I'll go over the pros and cons of both, but if you're unsure, know 2 things. 1, it's not too hard to swap between both of them. 2, there are more tutorials that use regular OBS. A channel. Again, obvious, but this is a harder decision. YouTube or Twitch, maybe both. There's pros and cons to both, and I'll also cover this in another video. Long story short, Twitch is better for connecting with fellow streamers via raids and hosting, but YouTube leverages the best search engine in the world for discoverability. You could also stream to both, but keep in mind that Twitch affiliate is a contract saying you cannot stream to anywhere else at the same time. Practice. You'd think this would be obvious, but I see a lot of people who don't immediately think about this. Do practice streams, ones where no one can watch you fumble. If you want to be an entertainer, you need to be entertaining, and that is a skill that you hone. You need to be comfortable with the persona that you're putting on, even if that's just yourself. Some VTubers like to weave their lore into conversations, so you need to be comfortable doing so on the spot. Some VTubers put on a special voice or a special personality, so you need to be able to keep that up at all times. There's also dead air. What happens when things have been silent for too long and everyone feels it's awkward? Everyone has their own style to be sure, but if you're going to be a streamer, you need to be comfortable talking to yourself at all times about everything. You need to figure out how to turn your thought process into a stream of consciousness, one-sided conversation, and that isn't natural to many people. Discord. You need it for collabs, and there are many Discord servers dedicated to VTubers. I'd like to shout out the Aspiring VTuber server headed by Fumiko Hoshi. Link in the description. Be aware that Discord has a global username, and this is separate from your server-specific nickname. If you plan on keeping your previous identity hidden, you need to change your username or people will figure out your past identity very quickly. Twitter. Not everyone is into social media, and that's fine, especially if you're only VTubing as a hobby. But if you want growth, you aren't going to get it by isolating yourself. The VTubing scene uses Twitter primarily. In another video, I'll get into the nitty gritty of how to best put yourself out there, but long story short, look at hashtag #ENVTubers and hashtag VTubers. Use those hashtags and search up people that do. For the most part, people are very willing to make friends, especially in PNG drops. It's my hope that this emboldened you to start making content if you're holding back. That was the path I took. I thought I needed everything for a big dramatic debut until a VTuber by the name of Bianca Duba told me it was more than okay to stream as a PNG tuber without a debut. That was a huge weight off my shoulders. I hope it can be one for you as well. That's all. Class is dismissed. Work hard, take a deep breath, and do great things.